everyone. We're about to kick off the session, so I just want to first of all say thank you all so much for joining. We've had huge interest, which has been awesome. For anyone that's wondering, we are recording the session today, so it will be available on a video, which will be shared via email and also across our social channels. The format today, how it will take place, is we'll have a bit of an introduction from our CEO, Blake Hutchison, and then we will have our three business owners presenting. So I'm just going to hand over to Blake now, who's just going to give a bit of an update on Flippa and what we've been doing, and then we will kick off the webinar.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining. My name is Blake Hutchison, I'm the CEO here at Flippa. It's our first webinar. We're very excited. We've had over 300 registered participants, so it's going to be a fun session. We've got three fantastic businesses. As it relates to Flippa, we're obviously the #1 platform to buy and sell digital and online businesses, and today we've got three fantastic businesses coming your way. So let's kick off, Holly.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to give a bit of a just discussion on who we've got here today on the call. So first up, we're going to have John Chen. John is the owner of Blush & Bar, which is an e-commerce business that was actually acquired on Flippa 2 years ago and sells affordable luxury jewelry in the US. This is a 3-year-old business. Once John has finished speaking, we're going to have Philip Mansour up, who's the owner of Kontexto. Kontexto is an SMS management service which enables e-commerce owners to effectively manage and outsource their direct marketing. And finally, on the call today, we will have Raj Rajan. Raj owns a SaaS business which is really quite an outstanding business in the sense that it works with property management and hotel boutique owners. So it's a business that you would use if you owned something like a bed and breakfast. So now we are going to get started, and first up we're going to have John, who's going to share his presentation with us on Blush & Bar. So if you just bear with me, and I'm going to hand it over to John.
All right, cool. Hey guys, hey everyone. My name is John, and I am the owner of Blush & Bar. Before we start, I want to give a quick shout out to Flippa. Thanks for hosting this, and thanks for all the publicity and everything. I spoke with a couple of these participants earlier today, but for all those who don't know, I'll go over a quick overview and be happy to answer questions after or in private. So yeah, let's get started. So Blush & Bar is a direct-to-consumer e-commerce jewelry brand. We bought this brand 2 years ago on Flippa. At the time, it was doing like $1,000 a month in profit, and we really came in with the idea of owning this brand for life. So I used to work at a private equity / hedge fund and wanted to do something entrepreneurial. We bought this tiny company, and since then we've really grown it a lot. And we really didn't even think about selling it. We really wanted to invest in the brand, and we've done that through the customer experience, the packaging, TV, going on TV and all that. But I told my old boss what I had done with the brand, and he said, this is an incredible thing that you've done. If we acquire a larger business, we want to install you kind of as the operator, the CEO. So we're listing this to see if we can divest this to get rid of the conflict of interest so that we can focus on the larger acquisition. So this is just a little bit about the business. Here are the assets, and here are some key facts about it. But if we go into the revenue and the profit, so revenue for the last 12 months is around 1.3 million, gross profit around 980, and this is gross profit net of shipping, net of returns, net of other cost of goods. Sometimes we give out cost of goods like influencers. It's net of all that. So it's around a 75% gross margin. The seller's discretionary earnings is around 283. So yep, here's the sales figures. The traffic overview, the breakdown. So 35% of the traffic is direct meaning people type in blushandbar.com. Another big chunk of that is that organic search, which really helps the brand awareness. And some other key facts, 30% of revenue is anywhere between 20 to 30% of revenue is from email, which is not a paid, you don't pay like per customer you acquire. Another big thing is we are on the front page of Afterpay. Afterpay is like a service like a PayPal, but it's big in Australia. And the big thing about Afterpay is that all the traffic that comes from Afterpay is free. So it's a pretty big conversion rate of the people who come from Afterpay. It's about a 25% conversion rate, which is really really incredible. And that percentage, the percentage of revenue that comes from people who have Afterpay, is growing year over year. So when we first started, it was around like 3%. Now, last month it was over 5%, and I think probably by the end of the year it'll be close to 10%. And that's all traffic that you wouldn't have to pay for. So here's some opportunities for a prospective buyer. There's two main ones. One is that the cost of goods is inefficient and it could be improved. So currently we're using a family friend as a trading company for our supplier for the cost of goods, and she deals with the factory and all that. If a new owner were to implement relationship directly with a factory, which we've gotten quotes for, but we haven't implemented. And the reason we haven't implemented it is because the supplier is a family friend. She really was there for us when we had nothing. So it's really hard for me to justify cutting her out. But if a new owner were to do that, we estimate that cost of goods sold would be reduced by at least 25%, or increase the net profit by 7%. So the other big thing is that their Facebook ad costs are relatively high compared to our revenue or compared to other direct-to-consumer brands. And there's a couple reasons for this. One is that because we came in with the idea of building the brand for the long term, we were always testing a bunch of different types of ads, type of products with the percentage of our spend, and not really caring if we got a return on that portion of our ad spend. And another is that we're just not we're okay at Facebook ads. We're not amazing at it. So we estimate that a good agency or a good skilled Facebook ads operator could probably get ad costs as a percentage of revenue down to 25 to 30%. So we are actually beginning to partner with someone. He's one of the best in the industry when it comes to Facebook ads for e-commerce, and he is basically willing to work on a rev share for us. So we're actually pretty excited for him to help grow the business. So with that said, those are the opportunities, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks very much, John. Fantastic presentation. Appreciate the overview of the business. We've got a couple of quick questions. You mentioned that you were on the homepage of Afterpay. What does that actually mean from a traffic perspective? Are you seeing some traffic and conversion out of the Afterpay channel?
Yeah. So can you guys still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
So if you go here, Afterpay is a really fast growing payment processor that's big in Australia, but they just came to the US. And basically they have these categories. People who like to shop from Afterpay, they really like Afterpay. So on this jewelry and accessories page, we're right here. So we're I'd say fourth row down. And we see a lot of revenue, free revenue basically. Think of the revenue that comes from this channel as like an organic channel. We don't really have to pay for acquisition. We don't pay Afterpay anything per customer, and as a percentage of revenue, it just keeps growing and growing. So that is basically the traffic source.
Great, thank you very much, John. Yeah, for everyone who doesn't know, Afterpay is a rocket ship globally in the US. They're just about to surpass 1 million users using the Afterpay service. John, another question here. Are your fast growth products inventoried, i.e. do you have them stocked in your own warehouse or some other location, or are they drop shipped?
Gotcha, yeah. So this is what's another great part about the business. You have a new owner has a lot of flexibility on how they want to approach it. So when we think about the inventory, we do hold our own inventory, but we've basically worked out a very flexible solution so that the the new owner doesn't have to hold that much inventory if they don't want to. So we mentioned that supplier that we had in China. So the big issue that we see with a lot of e-commerce companies that are quote unquote drop shipping are three things. So it's the quality, it's the shipping time, and it's the exclusivity. So in the 2 years that we've been running this, we've done things to basically improve all three. So when it comes to quality, the order defect rate or percentage of orders that have any issue, we've got under 1%. For the shipping time of the orders that are sent from China or from our supplier, they get to the customer within 9 days. And of course, you can always switch it back to 2 days if you wanted to. If you wanted to sell or switch it to fulfilled by Amazon, we have the capability to do that. But it's just a different, like, flexible solution if the new owner didn't want to hold that much inventory. And when it comes to exclusivity and brand, all of our items are exclusively sold by us and in our own branded packaging.
Fantastic, John. Thank you very much. Last question. How does your email marketing, what does your email marketing look like, and is that a good channel for you?
Yeah. I mean, email marketing is a great channel because you pay a monthly fee. We pay like $300 or $400 a month. We use Klaviyo, and we have a mix of different things. We have both flows and campaign emails. So we'll send a campaign out maybe once a week. A new owner could probably send, 2-3 times a week, or if you're like those big brands, it feels like they kind of send every other day. So I think a good email program could probably get up to 40% of revenue from email. But I mean, it's a great channel because you pay that $400 a month, and it's responsible for like 30% of revenue. So it's a really good channel, really efficient channel.
Fantastic, John. Thank you so much. There's a number of questions which have come through, so we will be emailing those to you directly at the end of the webinar and passing those answers on to the buyers. And we will now move on to the next presenter. But thank you so much, John. Fantastic business. Congratulations on the success of Blush and Bar.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, perfect. If you just bear with me for 1 second, and we're going to have Philip coming on next, who is going to be presenting Kontexto.
Not on mute.
Great.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Great. So thank you for doing this webinar. And as John said, thank you for all the publicity. There's been a surge of interested people since the listing has been live about, I'd say, 3 weeks ago. I've spoken to maybe 20 or 30 different people on the phone about this. So it's very exciting. And I appreciate you letting me do this quick presentation in front of everybody. So Kontexto is a text message management platform for e-commerce and digital product owners. About the business, it is a boutique SaaS communication platform for business owners online and local. So whether if it is an e-commerce store, or if it is the mom and pop shop up the street, or your favorite cafe, this is great for businesses like that. And what we did in the beginning was we managed everything for the clients, because a lot of business owners, whether they're online or offline, they have no idea how to even begin sending text messages to their subscribers or to their prospective customers. So we came in and we would set people up and show them not only how it works, but create funnels for them, create follow-ups, and really help drive a lot more extra traffic to their business, which in turn create a lot of revenue for them. So it launched 13 months ago in April 2018. It was a very random idea. A friend of mine was making a lot of money in SMS, and he said, email is pretty much dead, so this is what you should be doing now. And I've been in marketing for about 10 years. I've tried many different things, from media buying, native ads, Facebook ads. And I must say, nothing has been better than SMS. It's a lot of traffic. The ROI is insane. We've seen up to 600, 700% ROI, which is huge compared to, other traffic revenues. And yeah, everybody really likes it. And I love it. I think I was personally shocked when I saw how much traffic came from SMS. Most people, I would say there's like 98% open rates, and our click-through rates are anywhere between 20% and 40%. So imagine you send out 1 million text messages and you get 300,000 clicks. That's a lot of traffic. So the monetization, April 2018 to April 2019, the last 13 months, there's been $1.4 million in revenue, and there's been $948,000 in profit. So it has a very high profit margin. And there's 3 different ways to monetize. The first way, which when we initially launched, was having high paying clients. So we would set up we would take over all the management for them, set everything up from A to Z, and then we would also charge them per message sent. And then there's commission deals, which is what we've been doing for the last 10 months. And this is where we send text messages for the clients, and instead of them paying us per message or paying us for a management fee, they just pay us per sale. So for an example, let's say somebody has a $100 product and we bring the sale, they might pay us $70, right? And it's a win-win because there's no out-of-pocket expense for them. And usually for us, we end up making a lot more money, and it's actually a lot less management. And then another way that you could monetize, which we personally haven't done this, but the new owner of Kontexto could have a self-serve platform where it is completely 100% hands-free from you. You create a platform where someone can just easily sign up. They pay a monthly subscription, and then they pay per SMS. The commission deals is, again, what we have focused on, and this is what's made a lot of the revenue, actually all the revenue in the last 10 months. And it's just been our preferred way of sending SMS for clients and making money. And that's pretty much it. Questions?
Fantastic, Philip. Thank you so much. There's a couple of questions in here. Firstly, how do you acquire your client base? So where does your customer base come from?
All right. So in the beginning, all of the clients were pretty much through word of mouth. I've been in marketing for a very long time, over 10 years now. And it was just me simply contacting friends who I know who have very large e-commerce stores. And that is how we have, believe it or not, acquired all of our clients, even on our commission deals. However, the new owner could easily acquire new clients via LinkedIn, Facebook ads, obviously Google, and SMS is in big demand right now. So I would imagine that it would be fairly easy.
Thanks, Philip. And I understand that these are ongoing paying clients of yours, correct? So the new owner or prospective new owner would retain the client base. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. So the benefit of buying Kontexto is indeed you take over all of the current clients that we have commission deals with. You get all of the connections. And one more thing that I probably should have added in these slides is a big key factor with sending SMS is the rate that you're able to send messages at. Because if you're just any old person, and let's say that you launch from day one, you have no clients, and if you go and sign up to Twilio, you're going to pay the premium per message sent. So the new owner would also get our clients, but they also get our pricing that we have with several different providers, which is the absolute lowest pricing that you could get in the industry.
Thanks, Philip. Now, there's a quick question here related to permissions. So Once you've signed up a client, what are the permissions required to send a text message campaign?
Okay, so let's say, Blake, let's say that you came to us and you had an ebook on ClickBank. Let's say the product was, you know, a $49 product, and you have a customer list. Then we would basically send to that list. We would create a flow for you, and we would manage it every single day. And we would also go out there and we would find other prospect leads that would match to your list. So Blake, you might say, hey guys, look, you know, my profit is only 30% on Facebook ads. We might go to you and say, okay, well, listen, how about you pay us 60% commissions, and, you know, that way you're not out of pocket. And Blake, you don't have to gamble any money on Facebook ads. We pretty much take the gamble, quote unquote. And so for clients, it's like a win-win, because in their mind, they're like, okay, wow, like I don't have to spend any money out of pocket. And then the cool thing is that let's say that we did send traffic to your offer, Blake, and let's say it didn't work out. Then it's as simple as just saying, all right, hey, look, Blake, sorry, it didn't work out. It's not making any money. Thanks anyways, you know, but if it does work out, then now we are best friends, you know, because you're making all this money for free, and then we're making all these commissions from sending text messages to your offer.
Fantastic, Philip. As with John, lots of questions, so we will pass those all along to you post-webinar and ensure they get answered. Pass those along to our attendees here today. Thank you so much. Congratulations on a great business, and appreciate you presenting today.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the opportunity.
Fantastic. Holly?
Awesome. And last up today, we will have Raj, who is going to present for Roomsy. So Raj, over to you if you can share your screen.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see you and we can hear you. Go for it, Raj.
Perfect. Thanks everybody for taking the time, and thanks Flippa for organizing this. So Roomsy is a SaaS company, and it's based out of Vancouver, Canada. Most of our customers are in US, Canada, and some in Southeast Asia. We are focused on hotels and B&Bs as our primary market. There are 2 partners in the company, and we have 1 full-time developer who's focused on developing the product, who has been with us for about 3 years now. And at the moment, we spend about 10 to 15 hours a week about managing the company. This includes anything that's support related or anything that needs to be done in terms of sales or help customers with anything. The reason that we are looking to sell at this time is my partner, he's already working on another company. I'm also doing that at the same time. So we are thinking at this point, it's the best that we pass it on to somebody who can devote their full attention to it and take care of the customers at the same time. So last year we did about 140K in revenue. Our expenses were 133. The net profit was 5,400. That was done by design. We basically run our business on a break even. And that could mean that if we see opportunity to spend on a specific area, whether that's customer acquisition, then we would spend there. But if we are not going to spend that money there, then, and if we need to take it out for like salaries or for ourselves, we would do that. So, but the intention always is that we continue to run it on a break-even basis. So right now we have 240 customers. Our acquisition cost is $200. This acquisition cost does not include any paid acquisition. So at the moment we are not doing any paid acquisition. So if you're looking at the paid acquisition cost, that it will change that a little bit. It will go up to about like 250 instead of 200. The average customer at the moment spends $70 a month with us, and they are around for 2.5 years once they sign up on average, and that makes a lifetime value of $2,100. Our conversion rate is at 6%. And this is from free trial to paid. So anybody who comes to our site can create a free trial for our application, and they have 14 days to decide whether they would like to proceed with using the application or not. Our churn at this point is at 16%, which is about half of what the industry category is at. So where we see the opportunity is that our app, we basically at the moment focus on selling everything directly, either that is through sales conversation through demos, if that is needed, or the customers signs up themselves. The opportunity is to expand the network through resellers, because we do get leads from different locations in different countries, but because we are based in North America, sometimes just due to the time difference, we are not able to serve that customer well. But in case of a reseller where there's a local presence, that can really expand the footprint and really help in closing the deals. And that's very true for markets like Southeast Asia. Google, Facebook ads for customer acquisition, we have experimented with them quite a bit, and there's definitely opportunity in utilizing that well. We were okay with it, so if anybody who is a lot more savvy with it definitely can have much more impact, and the lead cost for it can definitely be can vary based on which location you are targeting. So the lead cost could be up to $50 for a certain market in like North America, and it could be like $7 if it's like Southeast Asia. So it can really change based on where you're focusing. Referrals, you can really focus on referrals as a strategy as well, where you can engage your current customer set in referring new properties. We do get referrals passively, but we haven't really pursued it actively as a strategy overall. I added language translations as well, because that's in combination with, as if you work with resellers in different countries, the application itself can support any language. So if you do provide that local language translation, that will really aid the reseller as well. And we found that even in our ad strategy, whenever we are testing out various things, if you were to do ads in local language, that can bring down your lead acquisition costs substantially. So it all plays hand in hand. So yeah, that's another option to try out as well. So yeah, that's like a quick overview of what Roomzy is. Are there any questions?
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Raj. First question is, how has the business been performing the last couple of months as it relates to both churn of customers and acquisition of new?
Yeah, still steady. So it's a very steady business in that sense. We are still operating on a break-even basis. 6% conversion rate still continues to happen. All leads are coming in organically. So yeah, definitely seeing the same pattern as we have before.
Thanks, Raj. Another question from the community here relates to the actual, what is the fee being paid per customer, by customer per month, and what is the lifetime value of that customer?
Right. So the per month it breaks down to an average of $70, and the lifetime value translates to $2,100.
$2,100. So okay, that's US dollars, presumably.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you, Raj. And what about the distribution of customers? Where are they based? They're North America, Southeast Asia, you alluded to during the presentation. Give us some sense of geographic distribution.
Yeah, so majority of the customers are in Canada and US. So about 70% of the customers will be in Canada and US, and then the remaining, then there's a good about 10% of customers that are in Southeast Asia, and then it sort of spreads all over the world kind of thing. So like we have about 40 countries in total, but there are some countries that have a bigger representation than that. But overall, Canada, US make the bigger chunk.
Great, fantastic. Thanks so much for that, Raj. And a big thank you to John and Philip for presenting and everyone that tuned in today. That is the end. We're going to wrap up the session, but we're going to send out a brief synopsis and update of all of the businesses that were discussed today with links to them on Flippa. And we'll also answer any unanswered questions that came through on the chat. Massive thank you to everyone that tuned in. This was the first in our Flippa webinar series, and we're really hoping to do more. If you have any feedback or any questions, I would greatly appreciate it, and so would everyone else here. You can send those directly to marketing@flippa.com. This could be feedback from the caller. If there's anything in particular you would like to see on a webinar moving forward, we can make it happen. So massive thank you to everyone, and have a fantastic evening.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.